welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is doing well. It's a very hot and sunny day today here in Paris, so I'm very happy and I'm going to enjoy the weather outside after recording today's lesson. And concerning today's topic, we will talk about 3 points. The first is basic animations, then visual effects, and finally unwind segues to pass data. Okay, in iOS, creating sophisticated animations doesn't require you to write complex code. Okay, but first things first, what's an animation? How is an animation created? Actually, animation is a simulation of motion and shape change by rapidly displaying a series of static images or frames. It's an illusion that the object is moving or changing in size, okay? But there is no better way to understand than by working on a real example. That's why today we are going to add some basic animations to our Cafegram app. Here is what we're going to do: add a rated button to the detail view, and when a user taps this button, it brings up a review view controller in which the buttons are animated for the user to rate the cafe, okay? And on top of that, I will show you how to create a blurred background using the built-in API and pass data between view controllers using Unwind segues. Okay, so if you're ready now, let's get started. Before creating the animated views, we will add a rating button to the detail view controller. So first, download this image pack. I will put the link in the description below, okay? And add the icons to assets catalog like this, okay? Cool. Then you are going to click to tick this option for each icon, okay? Preserve vector data like this, and I think it works for all of them, okay? Because they were all selected at the same time, okay? So it works perfectly for all. Okay, cool. And now, so far you've learned how to use the table views header. This time we will add the rated button to the footer of the table view. So right now go to main.storyboard and select the Cafe detail view controller in document outline. Okay, here. For convenience sake, before we add the rate button, let's first make the controller a little bit longer. In the size inspector, set the height to 1000. Okay, like this. Next, drag a view object from the object library to the footer of the table view. Okay. Place the view right under the cafe detail map cell here, like this. Okay. This view object serves as a container holding the rate button. If you've done it correctly, you should see a white area below the map view here, okay? So go to the size inspector here and set the height to 90 and press enter, okay. Next, drag a button from the object library to the view we just added, okay? So just right button like this. Okay. In the attributes inspector, set the title to rate it. Here, attributes inspector and title here. Just write, type, rate it. Okay, cool. Change the font to headline text style. So here. Where is it? Here. and color to white. Okay, so text color, white color. Okay, cool. And for the background color, change it to red. So where is the background? Here, background. We're going to click on custom, and here you can choose this one, for instance, cayenne or maybe maroon. I don't know which one. Maybe this one, maraschino. Okay guys, cool. Then I also want to make the button bigger, so go to size inspector and change its width to 345 here, 345, press enter, and height to 47 here. Okay, cool. As usual, we need to add some layout constraints for the button. Select the button here in document outline and click the add new constraints button of the layout bar here. Set the value left, right, and bottom sides to 15, 15, and 14 respectively. Okay, so here 15, then 15, and here 14. Okay, make sure this option constraint to margins is unchecked and click add for constraints to confirm. I also have to check the height option here to add the height constraints, and now you can click the add for constraints button like this. Okay guys, as you may notice, the rated button has rounded corners. In the demo you have learned how to do it in code. Now I'd like to show you another way to modify the corner radius of the layer. First, make sure you select the rated button in document outline, then go to the identity inspector, this one, okay, and then click the plus button under the user defined runtime attributes section. So this one, user defined runtime attributes, click plus like this, and then enter layer dot corner radius like this. Okay, press enter. So the type is number and set its value to 25. Okay, like this, press enter. Once done, run the app to have a quick test. So run the app, and here, for instance, if I go down, we have our button. Okay, cool. So now we are going to create a view controller for cafe review. Okay, so when a user taps the rate it button, we want to bring up a model view for the user to give a rating for the cafe. Okay, so in interface builder, drag a new view controller from the object library. Okay, maybe here, view controller, to the storyboard. Okay, and place it like this, for instance. Okay, then add an image view to the view. Okay, here you are going to write image and take this one. Okay, like this. Okay, the image view is used for displaying a background image. Okay, later you will learn how to blur the image to create a blurred background. As always, we need to define some layout constraints for the UI component. Okay, so click on the image view in document outline and then click the add new constraints button here. Set the value of top, left, bottom, and right sides to 0. Okay, Make sure this option is unchecked, okay, constraint to margins, and then press add for constraints to confirm, like this. Cool. Next, drag a button from the object library and place it near the top right corner, okay. So here, button, like this, and we're going to place it right here, okay, cool. In the attributes inspector, set its title to blank, here, title to blank, and image to cross. So where is image? Here, you're going to select cross. Cool. Again, we need to add a couple of spacing constraints for the top and right sides, okay? So I'm going to click on the add new constraints button, and for the top maybe we can let 43, and for the right side 22 maybe, okay, and then just press add to constraint, okay, like this. Cool. Now we're going to lay out the rating buttons. Drag a button from the object library to the view controller, here, like this, place it in the middle. The button has both text and image this time, okay? So in the attributes inspector, set the title to, I don't know, maybe like this, okay? An image to like, okay, here. Cool. Change the font to the custom font rubric and set the font size to 30, okay? Here, custom, then rubric, which is here, okay, press enter, done. And sorry, we have to change its size to 30, okay, and now done. Cool. As the other 5 buttons are similar to the one we created, we can just do copy and paste and change each of the title and image, okay? So select it like this, and then press Command C, Command V, okay? Place it under the first button like this, and we can also select both of them and then copy paste, okay, and one last time, okay, cool, like this. So we have now our 6 buttons, okay, and now we are going to change the name, the title, and the image for each. So this one is love, I think, okay. Here you're going to select love, okay. This one I think it's haha, like this. Where is the haha image? Okay, like this. Here, wow. So as you may notice, I use the Facebook icons for this tutorial. Okay. Wow, here. I think this one is sad. Sometimes it happens that you go to a place and you dislike this place, okay? So you're sad, I think you're sad, or maybe anger, okay. And finally the last one, angry, like this, okay, and the icon name is angry, simply. Cool. Again, it's time to define the layout constraints for the UI objects. First, let's embed the buttons in a stack view, and then define the necessary constraints for this one. Okay, so hold command key and select all the 6 buttons. First one, command 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, click the stack button in the layout bar to embed them in a vertical stack view. Here, stack view like this. Okay, cool. In the attributes inspector, change the alignment option to leading, okay, to have our images and text on the left side, okay, like this. Cool. And trailing is for the right side. Okay, guys, we can try like this. Okay, so in this tutorial we need leading alignment, and finally spacing to 10 points like this. Okay, so now we want to center the stack view both vertically and horizontally. Make sure you select the stack view in document outline, click the align button here, and check both horizontally in container and vertically in container checkboxes. Okay, and once you confirm to add the constraints, the stack view is now always centered. Okay, cool. So now that we have completed the design of the view controller, let's create a class to pair with it. Okay, so in the project navigator, right click the controller folder and choose new file. Okay, new file, choose the Cocoa Touch class template, set the class name to review view controller like this. Okay, and its subclass to UI view controller. Okay, cool. Then you save the file in the project, and once the file is created, declare an outlet variable for the background image view in the review view controller class. Okay, here also declare a variable for holding the current cafe. So here add IB outlet var background image view to be type of UI image view. Okay, then var cafe, which is an empty cafe. Okay, like this. Cool. And in the view didLoad method here, insert the following line of code to set the image view. Okay, so background image view. Oh god, what? Okay, it's better now. Background image view dot image, okay, is equal to UI image, this one. Okay, and cafe dot image like this. Cool. This line of code loads the cafe's image as the background image. Okay, switch over to main.storyboard and select the view controller with the rating buttons. This one. Okay, change the custom class here to review view controller. Okay, here press enter, then right click the review view controller in document outline. Okay, here, and connect the background image view outlet variable. Okay, this one to that. Cool. Now we are going to create a segue for the model view. To bring up the review view modally, we have to connect the rate it button with the review view controller with the segue. So hold hold the control key and drag from the rated button to the review view controller like this. Okay, release the buttons and select present modally as the segue type. This one. Okay, cool. Once the segue is created, select it here, okay, and set the identifier of the segue here in attributes of the segue to show review under the attributes inspector. Here, show review like this. Okay, show review, then press enter. Okay, cool. As we need to pass the cafe object from the detail view to the review view, open the cafe detail view controller, this one, file, and edit the following method like this. Okay. Okay, here. So as we have a new identifier, we're going to say if segue dot identifier is equal to show review like this. Okay, then let destination controller segue dot destination as review view controller, and then destination controller dot cafe is equal to cafe. Okay, to this one. Cool. The change is very straightforward. For segue with the identifier show review, we retrieve the review view controller object and then paste it the current cafe. Okay, now let's have a quick test. Run the app and go to the detail view. Okay, tapping the rated button should now bring up the review view. Cool. Oh, I see we have still this problem, so I'm going to fix it now. Okay, so you have to go back to main.storyboard. You are going to select here the background image view, okay, and here in size inspector, I think, no, that's not, you have to select this constraint. Okay, where is it? I think it's this one. Yes, so you have to select super view, and I think then reverse that, and we're going to try again. I don't know why we had this blank space. So here, okay, now we don't have the blank space here. It's better now. Okay, cool. So now you have to know that iOS has some built-in transition animation at your disposal. By default, the review view is brought up from the bottom of the screen. This transition animation is known as cover vertical. Okay, which is the default transition for model presentation. If you select the segue and go to the attributes inspector, okay, you can find other transition options such as cross dissolve and flip horizontal. I think it's here. Transition, yes. Try to change the transition option from default to cross dissolve here. Okay, and see what animation we get. So Command R, I relaunch the simulator. And concerning this demo, I will continue to use cross dissolve as the transition animation, but you are free to choose your own. Okay, guys? So maybe this one, and here. Okay, cool. And now we're going to define an exit for the review view controller. Okay. For now, there is no way to dismiss the view to return to the detail screen. There are multiple ways to handle view dismissal. What we're going to implement is something called Unwind segue. An unwind segue can be used to navigate back through a modal or push segue. In this example, we can use it to dismiss the modal view. Okay, to use an unwind segue, you need to do two things. First, declare a method in the destination view controller. Okay, so in this case, it's the cafe detail view controller, because we want to go back in this view. Okay, so here add the following method. Okay, add IB action func close, then we need a parameter, okay, which is the segue, to be type of UI storyboard segue, like this. And here you just write dismiss animated true and completion nil. Okay, cool. Before you can begin adding unwind segues in Interface Builder, you must define at least one unwind action in the destination controller. This action method tells Xcode that it can be unwound. Okay. Optionally, you can implement additional logic in the method. Here we just call the dismiss method to dismiss the review view controller. Now go back to Interface Builder, press and hold Control key and drag from the close button to the exit icon of the scene dock. Okay. When prompted, select close with segue for the action segue. So here, press Control key and drag it to this button. Okay, then release and select close with segue. Cool. And here you have the unwind segue that appears. Okay, cool. Now you can run the project again. Okay, now when the user taps the close button, the model view will be dismissed. Cool. Now that the background image shows the original photo of a cafe, this doesn't look as expected. As you can see here, it should be blurred instead. The iOS SDK has a class called UI Visual Effect View, okay, that lets developers apply visual effects to a view. Combining with the UI Blur Effect class, you can easily apply a blurring effect to an image view. So right now, open the review view controller.swift file here and update the view did load method like this. So here, perhaps you can write this comment. Okay, applying the blur effect. First, we have to create the blur effect object, blur effect, to be type of UI blur effect. Okay, with one parameter. Here you have several styles. Okay, dark, extra light, light, prominent, and regular. I let you try all those styles. For my tutorial, I'm going to use the dark style. Okay, then we have to create the blur effect view. Blur effect view. like this, UI visual effect view, okay, with one effect, which is our blur effect here, and then blur effect view dot frame is equal to our whole view, so view dot bounds. Okay guys, and finally background image view dot add subview, and then you write blur effect view. Okay, so to apply a blurring effect to the background image view, all you need to do is create a UI visual effect view object with the blurring effect, followed by adding the visual effect view to the background image view. The UI blur effect class offers several different styles. I like the dark style, but it's up to you to choose your own style. Okay guys, the above lines of code are all you need to blur the background image. So now we are ready to go. Okay, we can run the app again and see what we get. Okay, very nice, as you can see. I can also show you, if you want, some other styles, maybe this one. Okay, like this, but I think it is less stylish. Okay, so I'm going to write again dark and let it like this. Cool. Since we want to animate the buttons, we have to connect them with our code. Usually we create an outlet for each of the buttons, but this time let me show you something different called outlet connections. Okay, so the function of an outlet connection is exactly the same as an outlet. Okay, it's still a property that references the UI objects in Interface Builder. However, the difference is that an outlet collection allows you to reference multiple UI objects with one single outlet variable. You will see what I mean in a while. So let's say we want to reference the group of the rate buttons with an outlet collection. We can declare an outlet variable in the review view controller. Okay, perhaps here. At IB outlet var rate buttons, like this. So as it's a collection, first of all you have to think it as an array. Okay, so like this, and then you have to think about the type of these buttons. So all of these buttons are type of UI button. Okay, like this. Cool. As you can see, the variable of an outlet collection as you can see it holds an array of UI button instead of a single button. Now head over the main.storyboard. Here we will connect each of the rate buttons to this outlet variable. Okay, right click the review view controller in document outline like this. Click the circle button of rate buttons and drag it to all of these buttons, one at a time. Okay, so the first one, then second, third, fourth, fifth, and finally the last one, sixth. Okay, make sure you have all your buttons here. So we need to have 6 buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's okay. Cool. You should be very familiar with this procedure. What's interesting about outlet collections is that you can keep establishing connections with other buttons. Once the like button is connected, for instance, okay, after all the preparation, we finally come to the core part of the chapter, UI view animation. To begin, we're going to create a simple fade-in animation for the rate buttons, okay? So now let's first start with the start state. We will make all the rating buttons invisible in the viewDidLoad method. So in the review view controller.swift file, insert the following code at the end of viewDidLoad method. Here, make the button invisible. Okay. For rate button, in rate button, which is our array, I want that each rate button, its alpha property is set to 0, okay, like this. Good. When setting the value of the alpha property to 0, we can make the buttons invisible, okay? Maybe I should write, I don't know, like this, make the button invisible, okay? Now it comes to the end state. To create the fade-in effect, insert the following code in the review view controller class 2. Here, maybe, so you have to call the view will appear method here, and then write that UI view.animate only with duration, I think this one, okay, so 3.0, okay, and we can like this, okay, and then write that self.rate buttons dot alpha is equal to 1, for instance, this time, no, is equal to 1, okay, and we're going to repeat this procedure 5 times again, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, and here just change the index value, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay. So the code is very straightforward. We call the UI view.animate with duration method to animate the change of the alpha value. In the body of the closure, you just need to specify the end state, okay, with alpha equal to 1. The API will automatically compute the animation for you. The duration parameter specifies the duration of the animation. In this example, the animation will complete in 3 seconds, okay? And the viewDidLoad method is called when a view is first loaded only, but then it's not called again. So the view hasn't displayed on the screen. If we implement the animation in this method, the animation may start too early and probably finish and even before the view appears on the screen. Whereas the view will appear method, on the other hand, is automatically called after viewDidLoad by iOS when the view is about to appear on the screen. It's more suitable for us to render the animation like this. This is why we write the code in view will appear rather than viewDidLoad, okay? That's it. Run the app for a quick test and enjoy the animation. And as a side note, if you can't see the animation clearly, you can change the duration parameter from 3 seconds to other value like 10 for instance, to slow down the animation. Okay, cool. So here now, very cool, right? Okay, so the UI view dot animate with duration method is not the only API for rendering animations. It has other variations with additional parameters to control an animation. Okay, so we are going to replace the view will appear method here with the following code. Okay, so I'm going to write it one time. UI view dot, okay, maybe this one. Yes, it's this one. Cool. Okay, so I said 0.4 for the duration. Here 1, 0.1, 0.1. Okay, option empty array. Okay, here animation, maybe I think we can press enter. Yes, here you can write nil, and here you can write this line. Okay, cool. So I'm going to cut it, put it here. Okay, and now you can delete this one, and here I'm going to repeat this method, copy paste 5 times again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if you want to put some space between them, you can. Here you are going to change for the second element the delay to 0.15. Okay, here 20, here 25, here 30, and here 35. Okay, like this. Put some space. Okay, and don't forget to change the index to apply to all buttons. Okay, so here it's 1, here it's 2, here it's 3, 4, and 5. Okay, I think we are done. Let me check one time again. Okay, yes. Okay, the UI view.animate method has other parameters such as delay for developers to further customize an animation. In the code above, we set a distinct delay value for each of the buttons. Run the app and you will experience a fancier fade-in animation. Okay. Like this. Okay, guys. I can try again. Cool. But we have other animations too, such as the sliding animation, which is another common type of animations. The object slides from the far right of the screen until it reaches a certain position. Okay, so now let's see how to implement this type of animation. Again, consider the start and end states of the animation. To create a sliding from right animation, we will move all the red buttons off the screen to the right. This is the start state. Then the end state is the original position of the buttons that we define in Interface Builder. Okay? To move a view, all you need to do is create an affine transformation and set it to the transform property of a UI view object. Okay, if you want to move a view to the left of the screen, use a negative number the parameter y lets you move a view along the y-axis. Okay, in other words, you can set this value to move a view vertically. Now let's try out the code in action. Update the view deload method of the review view controller like this. So here, okay, here I'm going to write let move right transform, let move right transform to be equal of cg-affine transform dot init with this one translation x. Okay, you just write 600 and 0. Okay, and here we are going to add one new line of code. Rate button dot transform is equal to move right transform. Okay, we have made a couple of minor changes here. First, we declare a constant called move right transform that holds the translation transform for moving a view to the right. Secondly, we add a line of code in the for in loop. Okay, the transform property of each button is assigned with move right transform. Now this will move the buttons off the screen to the right. Okay, that's the implementation for the start state. For the end state, the question is how can we reset the position of rate buttons to its original position? That's very simple. There is a built-in transformation called identities transform that can be used to clear any predefined transform. So we are going to update the view will appear method like this. Okay, so here you're just going to add one more line, self dot rate buttons, like this, dot transform is equal to identity. Identity here means original position. So each time, every time you will need to bring your object to its original position, you have to use this this value, identity. Okay guys, like this. And I'm just going to repeat, copy paste like this, and just change the index, obviously, like this. So here 1, here 2, here 3, here 4, and finally here 5, like this. Cool. I think we're good. So for each of the buttons, we add a line of code to set the button's transform to identity that will reset the button to its original position. That's it. Now it's time to test the app and see the animation in action. Very cool, right? Okay, cool. So the animation is cool, right? Let me introduce you a variation of the UI view animation known as Spring Animation. The Spring Animation API was first introduced in iOS 7 that lets you easily create some bouncing animations. To take advantage of Spring Animation in your app, here is the single method call you need. Okay, so I'm going to change the view will appear method one time again, once again, maybe I should say. Okay, for this one, maybe I'm going to write it here, UI view dot animate. I think this time it's this one, not at all. Okay, I think it's this one. Yes, cool. So with duration 0.8, delay 0.1, okay. Using spring with damping 0.2, initial spring velocity 0.3, okay. Option empty array like this. Animation, press enter, and completion you can write nil, okay. And here I'm just going to copy paste, cut and paste those lines like this, okay. Okay, and now I'm going just to delete all these lines, okay, and copy paste this method 5 times, okay. So one, no, not like this, sorry, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. Put some spaces, okay. Cool. So here we're going to change the delay just like before, 20, 25. Oh, I put it one more, okay, 30 and 35, like this. Finally, we have to change the index. So 1, here 1, here 2, like this, 3, 4, and finally 5, like this. And now we can run the app and see what we get, okay guys? But maybe before I'm going to explain you a little bit. The method should look familiar to you, but it adds the dumping and initial spring velocity here parameters. Damping takes a value from 0 to 1 and controls how much resistance the spring has when it approaches the end state of an animation. If you want to increase oscillation, set to a lower value. The initial spring velocity property specifies the initial spring velocity. Okay? So now we're going to run our project again and see what we get. Cool. Really shaking. Okay, fine. Now I'm going to show you one other thing. What's interesting about a fine transform is that you can concatenate one transform with another, okay? Now that we have implemented the translate transform for the rate buttons, wouldn't it be great if we can add a scale transform to them or create some amazing animation? In the view did load method, replace the following code. Okay. So here we are going to add 2 other lines. Let scale up transform, oh gosh, transform to be equal of seguedefined transform init, this one this time scale x, okay, and you're going to put 5, 5 and 5 like this, okay, and then write let move scale transform to be equal of scale up transform like this. dot concatenating move right transform. Okay, and here move scale transform. Okay, so we create a scale-up transform that will make a view 5 times larger, and then we combine it with the translation transform by calling the concatenating function. Each of the rate buttons is assigned with this combined transform. For the end state, we can keep the view will appear method unchanged. Okay, and that's it. You're ready to go and see how the combined animation works now. Cool. Okay, and now we're going to talk about the unwind segues and data passing. Okay, earlier we used an unwind segue to go back to the detail view when a user taps the close button, right? Like this here. Okay, how about the rating buttons? How can we pass the selected rating from the review view controller to the detail view controller? We will make use of unwind segues to facilitate the data passing. Okay, first we need to modify the cafe class because it doesn't have any property for holding the value of the selected rating. So here you can write var rating to be type of string like this. Okay, here add another parameter like this and to be equal of an empty string. Okay, and in the code above we have added a rating property of the type string. Since this is a new property, we have to update the init method accordingly to include the rating parameter. As you may notice, we set a default value which is a blank string for the rating parameter. Okay, by doing so, all the code related to cafe instantiation can be kept intact. Okay, for instance here, this our main array doesn't need to be changed. Okay, because we add a blank string here. Okay, if the instantiation of a cafe object doesn't specify the rating parameter, its value will be default to blank. Okay, now switch over to main.storyboard and we will add an image view to the header view, and this image view will be used to display the icon of the selected rating. Drag an image view from the object library to the cafe detail view controller. Okay, so here image like this. Okay, place it right under the dim view in document outline. Okay, here, not inside but in the same alignment. What I mean is you have to exit it from here like this and then place this view, dim view, on top of the image view like this. Okay, now it works perfectly. Next, click the add new constraints button to add a few layout constraints to our new image view. Okay, so first, really guys, make sure that your hierarchy is like this. Okay, I don't want the image view to be in the dim view. Okay, so select image view here, and then set the value of right and bottom sides to 10. Right and bottom sides to 10. Okay. To limit the size of the image view, check both height and width options here and set the height to 50 and the width to 52. Okay. Click add for constraints to confirm and make sure this option constraint to margins is unchecked. Okay guys, cool. Okay, so here is our new little image view. After adding the constraints, the image view is resized and moved. However, it's not placed at our preferred location. We expect it resides near the lower right corner of the header view. There is an issue with the bottom constraint of the image view. If you select it, okay, I think it's this one. Yes, this one, guys. Okay. You will find that the spacing constraint is relative to the name label here, which is incorrect. It should be relative to the bottom of the header view. So in the attributes inspector, once you selected this constraint here, okay, you can zoom or you can find it here in document outline. Sorry, so it's this one, okay. Name label dot top equal to image view dot bottom, okay. Change the first item from name label dot top to type label dot bottom. Here, type label. You have to click the name label dot top option and select bottom here. Okay. Then select the option again to choose type label. Okay, that's what we have done. Also change the constant to 0. Okay, here and press enter. Cool. And if you've made the change correctly, the bottom of the image view should be perfectly aligned with the bottom of the type label here. Cool. Now we've completed the UI design of the detail view. Open the Cafe detail header view here. Cafe detail header view. And add a new outlet variable for this image view. Okay, maybe here, I don't know. Perhaps here. Add IB outlet var rating image view UI image view like this. Okay, go back to the storyboard, right click header view in document outline here to establish the connection between the outlet variable and the new image view. Okay, so here like this. Cool. Finally, we've completed all the UI preparations. It's time to create the Unwind segue to facilitate the data passing. Declare the following method in the Cafe detail view controller. Class. So here you can write add IB action, which is a function rate cafe like this. We need one parameter, which is a segue to be type of UI storyboard segue. Okay, and now go to main.storyboard again to connect each of the rating buttons with the unwind action method. Control drag from the like button to the exit icon. Okay, here. like this. Okay, release the button and select Rate Cafe with segue. Okay, once the Unwind segue is created, select it in the document outline and set its identifier to like in the attributes inspector, like this. Okay, press enter. Okay, repeat the same step to connect the other 5 buttons with the rating button tapped with segue method. Okay. Each of the rating button is connected now to the same unwind action method. We need to have a way to find out which button is tapped. This is the reason why we set these segue identifiers. Now go back to Cafe Detail View Controller to implement the unwind action method. Okay. Update the rate cafe segue method like this. Here, if let rating is equal to segue.identifier, then self.cafe.rating is equal to rating, and self.headerView.ratingImageView.image is equal to UI image rating. Okay, like this. And don't forget to dismiss then the view. Okay, cool. The code above is pretty straightforward. We first retrieve the unwind segues identifier. Depending on the segues identifier, we set the rating of the cafe accordingly, and then we assign the image of the rating image view. If you run the app now and rate a cafe, you will notice the image of your selected rating appeared on the detail view. Okay. Oh, sorry guys. Self dot rating is equal to rating. Okay, now it should work. Cool. You can see it here. Very nice. And you could change it every time you want. Let me put this one. Very nice. Okay. So the rating feature works great, but we can further improve it by adding a subtle animation. The rating feature works great, but we can further improve it by adding a subtle animation. Okay, we are now going to update the rate cafe method to the following. Okay, so let me write here. We can stop the simulator. Okay, not here. Here maybe? No, here. Okay. Okay, so this time I'm going to totally change it by writing dismiss, not this one. Dismiss, okay. True. And completion, press enter like this. Okay, and here we are going to copy paste these lines. Okay, even cut them like this, and then still in the dismiss property, we're going to write let's scale transform, okay, is equal to cg affine transform.init 0.1 and oh man, okay, then write self dot header view dot rating image view dot transform is equal to scale transform, okay, then self dot header view dot rating image view dot alpha is equal to 0, and then UI view, okay, so duration 0.4, delay I think it's 0, damping 0.3, velocity 0.7, options empty array, here press enter, and completion is nil, okay, and here we can write self dot header view dot rating image view dot transform is equal to identity, its original position, and finally self dot header view dot rating image view dot alpha is equal to 1, like this, okay. The dismiss method accepts two parameters, animated and completion. The animated parameter indicates whether the view dismissal is animated. The completion parameter lets you specify a block of code to be executed after the view controller is dismissed. In the code block, we first scale down the rating image and then reset it back to its original size to create a subtle animation. Run the app to try it out, okay? You will understand what I mean. Cool, right? Okay, this is another huge lesson that covers UI view animations, visual effects, and unwind segues. I hope you love all the techniques that you've learned about UI view animations and visual effects. As you can see, it's very easy to animate a view, whether it's a button or a view. And I would encourage you to play around with the parameters like damping, initial spring velocity, and delay, and see what animations you can create. Okay guys, so that's all for today. If you enjoyed the lesson, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, just do it, and I'll see you later guys. Bye bye.